Hi, everyone. It's Matt DeFanis, broker owner of Remax Realty Associates with offices in Champaign, Mahomet, and Monticello, Illinois. And today I'm here to report to you on a first that I had in my 20-plus year career in real estate. And that was today I got to witness a video sewer line inspection. Now, I'll explain to you in a minute why it was that my clients in this particular circumstance chose to have one, but I had never been to one of these before, and I really didn't know what to expect. I thought I might end up seeing something like, but it wasn't that at all. Now, let me explain why this was a big deal for these particular clients. In their case, they had happened to have a conversation with the sellers and knew that this was a house in an older part of town, a 50 to 60-year-old neighborhood. And one of the concerns was they knew that the sellers had a sewer cleanout company come about once a year to do something the sellers would characterize as ongoing maintenance. But if there's roots being cleaned out of a sewer line, and you're a first-time home buyer, which these clients are, and I represent the buyers in this transaction, it's very hard to imagine how it is that roots grow into your sewer line and regrow into your sewer line on a recurring basis without that meaning that there's some terrible failure, that looks like this. And if, God forbid, it were something like that, where there is a seriously broken, damaged sewer line, the sewer line goes from the house somewhere out to a main sewer line, which is often at or under the street. A few years ago, I had clients where literally the street in front of their house was closed and demolished because an older house had never been connected to the public sanitary sewer system. So the stakes, as you might imagine, for something like that get really high. So when you had a combination of a first-time buyer, older property, a known issue of recurring infiltration of tree roots, there's a pretty good reason to want to spend at least some additional money and due diligence to confirm that the sewer line itself is not falling apart. And I'll explain in a minute what the final finding was. But the company locally here in our local Champaign-Urbana market that my folks hired was Schoonover Sewer Service. Somewhat interestingly, this is a company that does not do sewer line work, which also means there's no conflict of interest. There's no financial incentive if they find or claim that there's a damaged sewer line that they get the work replacing it. So in this particular case, the main sewer line went through a closet in the garage. And I'm just going to show you what this process looked like because it actually was quite interesting. So there's the service technician with the probe cable that goes into the sewer line. So he's pulled the cap off, has fished that in. This is the probe. So it plugs into a video monitor and recorder device, and it's attached to a long hose, semi-rigid hose that he can fish into the sewer line. That's the probe on the end, which includes a light. And then you're able to watch it in real time on a monitor, as well as having it recorded to an SD card so that somebody can see it after the fact. And the guy, of course, I thought it before he said it, but he said, in his spare time, he does colonoscopies with this equipment, although you would not be walking very well if he used that for that purpose. So this is what that looked like. And it was actually pretty interesting. There he is with this briefcase portable setup, setting it up for the inspection. And that's what a shot during the inspection looked like. So obviously it's not real exciting. And that is, in fact, it looks like it could be, again, part of a medical test on a human, depending on which end. But it confirmed inch by inch all the way from where he fished that probe in to where it hit the main sewer line at the street. It confirmed that, in fact, that sewer line was 100% intact, and that the reason why there were tree roots getting in is that style of sewer line, it predates the use of PVC, the plastic smooth piping that's used on new construction nowadays. So that style of pipe, you would get tree roots that would find their way in at the joints. And so he said, in some cases, you could have a sewer line that's become disconnected or has fallen apart, or where two sides of a joint have shifted, and you really do need to have a partial replacement or a major repair done. But in most cases, he said, the tree roots look at a sewer line that is anything less than 100% watertight, and the tree roots basically go in search of water. And the sewer technician said, it's kind of like breaking into the GNC vitamin shop if you're a tree root and you have this nutrient-rich water, sewer water flowing through there. So he was very clear. This is one of those things that you're going to spend $100 and some every 12 months. and you're going to do it forever. And it doesn't mean your sewer line is in any way damaged or deteriorating. In fact, he was quite emphatic that that sewer line, as long as it gets cleaned out every year, is going to last probably longer than any of us are going to live. So there you have it. Something that I was completely unfamiliar with how the process looked. It can, depending on your market and depending upon how long a run you're doing, that can be many hundreds of dollars. In this case, it was less than $200, and it was a very quick process. We were in and out in less than half an hour, and my clients, for less than $200, knew with absolute certainty, because they saw every inch of that sewer line, that there is no break, no hole, no nothing. That means that a year after closing, they're going to end up having to pay for thousands of dollars of excavation and sewer line replacement. So there you have it. I decided to share my exciting first-time video sewer inspection experience with you all. You're so very welcome. Thanks for joining me. Have a great evening.